Hey guys, it's Ethan with Trackstar Motorworks. Today I'm going to be tuning this awesome Civic on the dyno behind me. This is an all-motor setup. It is a B20 VTEC. It has all of the forged parts inside of it. 13.0 compression pistons, Skunk2 camshafts, and valve springs, retainers, all the mods you need to make good power on an all-motor B-Series. So we're going to get rolling right now. The car does have a little bit of a backstory that I want to kind of go over because I feel like we've triumphed over a multiplicity of issues on this car. First pull, baby.
What did it do first pull?
248.
248.
First pull. Yeah, that's the real plot. That's the real plot. That pull was pretty close to perfect.
Oh, really?
It was pretty, as far as like the AFR number was good. This car has already been extensively street tuned, and not just street tuned, but cam gear changes. Lots and lots of attention to many overlooked details from prior workmanship. All right, well, I am pretty amped because the car already did a really good number straight off the street. But before we get into that, I kind of promised a backstory here. The car came to us in kind of a convoluted manner. My buddy Austin went to go buy an ECU from this guy, and then checked out the car kind of in the process of buying the ECU. Saw a few weird things that he kind of flagged for the owner, and then they were continued talking, and then he soon experienced a rear main seal blowout. That's what landed the car at our shop. Rear main seal blew out, oil everywhere. So he brought it in, and we had to do like a whole diagnosis, tear down, figure out what was done, what wasn't done, and what was done right and what wasn't done correctly. So we first saw that on the motor teardown, we saw the piston ring gap was tremendous, much larger than it needed to be. So that would be why it had a lot of blow by. The bearings were also quite worn out, and that was a little bit more surprising, although we had noted that the oil pressure was lower than it should be. So I didn't see anything wrong inside the bottom end as far as oil pressure wise. So we had to dig really deep. We actually put parts back together and then realized there's still something going on, and had to dig all the way in. There are some pins in the head, not the normal VTEC pins. I check those every time. Everybody checks those. I've seen that problem happen before. That was not this. These are the pins that actually secure the rocker shafts. And if they're not there, the oil pressure is just leaking internally into the motor. So you'll see that the oil pressure, while it's there, is not high enough because it's got an internal leak. And then worst of all, VTEC won't work on your B20 VTEC. So the pins were a major problem. There's a lot of other little problems too that I think I'm glossing over right now. Definitely the cam gear settings were really inappropriate for the particular cams that they are. Skunk wants you to have a 4-degree stagger between the cams due to valve overlap, valve to piston problems. And the car had no stagger between the cams, which is probably dangerous. I mean, I was surprised that the motor everything was still together. We were able to degree in and establish the correct cam gear settings for them, and amazingly the car idles infinitely better when you have the correct cam gear settings. We were able to cure a cold start that just the car would not start, would not idle. It now starts and idles like a normal car. Don't have to touch the throttle. Nothing funny. VTEC is now working though, and we did also have to change the clutch because the rear main seal ruined the clutch that was in there. So it's been a rough path on this car, but I feel pretty proud of me and Austin triumphing over this. And man, we've already got good numbers. The owner's happy right there, so I'm feeling pretty good. So here is what our baseline off the street tune looked like. 248 and 175. Look at that torque. Flat all the way across. Looks like I need to maybe move that VTEC crossover down a little bit. We have power dropping a little bit, then VTEC hitting. So if I move it down, hopefully this will become a straight line all the way out. That was only 8,000 RPM, so we have some more revs to go, and it'll probably make a little bit more power up there.
It goes like 11.5, 11.8 right after.
Post VTEC timing, need to look at. So right, and that's the middle of the flat range right there. So yeah, we need more timing here. I mean, you can see how it has a large step right here. 4 degrees of step, so I'll go give this a bump, bump. 1 degree, that's got 2 degrees, that's got 3 degrees, that's got 3 degrees, that's got 3 degrees. Give another bump, bump. Where's peak torque at? It's at, so it's way up there, 6,700. 6,700 is peak torque. Okay, so I've been manipulating the timing map now for the last few minutes. Based off of here in the data log of that last run, kind of a flat spot in the timing here. You can see it's kind of escalating and then flat and then escalating with a gentle escalation, but that flat spot is responsible for the flat spot in the dyno plot itself there. So I've just gone in and added gradient to all of that, where we should have a nice smoothly sweeping up line with no level number staying the same for very long on this run. Little bump there.
What did it do?
253, but a solid 7 torque added, 180 torque now. Here is our new ignition timing data log. As you can see, no flat spots now, and I was rewarded with 7 extra foot-pounds of torque in the mid-range as a result of fixing that. All right, the other thing that I noted on that run, the AFR was pretty rich in VTEC all the way up to the highest RPMs. And you can see why it got a little lean in the top, because the fueling gets a little flat there. And this setup is very efficient, and it's making power all the way out to rev limiter. So normally a cam profile, you might have it falling off above 6,000 where the fuel demand will start to roll off. This car has no roll off in fuel demand. It wants more fuel for more RPM all the way out. All right, doing a quick spark plug check here. Very defined mark there. Looks happy. Probably not much more room to go based on how far down the strap we are right now.
What was that?
It's like the same run,
yeah,
with just a little bit better hold out in that top end.
Yep. That's probably all she wrote.
I think that's all she wrote, man.
All right, so
coming.
Here we go.
That's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Tune. I hope you enjoyed this amazing Civic. We'll see you for the next build. Bye.